Today we can discuss with the web functions. Anyone guess? Anyone any identified as of now web functions? In our script, or anything you can observe?
Web URL.
Yes, web URL. So web URL means, so when it is record, means when we are clicking that buttons, so that time we can get for the web URL. And web submit data. So web submit data means we can submit the data in the form of item data. So you can see this is the item data. Item data nothing but what are the data we are entering, right? Those values it will be inform the item data. So we have the web functions. So what are the web URL, web submit data, and web submit form, and we have the many functions. Anyone guess? We know for the 2, 3 also.
WebReg save param and
Yeah, WebReg save param.
And WebRegX.
WebRegX, okay.
Web max HTML save length.
Yes, that is also, that's good. Okay, good. And then next, WebReg find we not see, right? WebReg find also is there. That is for the verification point of it. For we can use for the verification point. We can use for the WebReg find. Things first will be what is that web URL. Web URL means to launch the application or to we can click on any buttons means it is generated as a web URL function. And next to second one will be like web sub max HTML param length function. It set the maximum length of any HTML string that can be retrieved and stored in a variable. Like syntax, what is that syntax? Web underscore set underscore max underscore HTML underscore param length, and we need to define for the number of bytes, like it's a 1024 or 999 or 49. So like that we need to assign for the website max HTML param length function. Okay, then next will be web save timestamp param. We need to capture for the timestamp. To save the timestamp param, it generates as a timestamp is like milliseconds, which is a 30 digits number. Like syntax will be web underscore save underscore timestamp underscore param. And we need to write like the function like I will show in Notepad, then you can understand. Okay. So web save timestamp param. What is that function name? Web underscore save underscore time underscore stamp underscore param. Okay, for this is the function. For that syntax, how we can write means we can write as a same like this. Okay, web save timestamp param, and we need to write for the like t stamp in double colon. We need to write like t stamp means timestamp. Comma last. And we need to write for the some I need to display the output message. So which one we can use? LR
Output message.
Output message. LR output message. LR output message. And when we are, that will be integer value only, right? The time means what is that 3 or 4, whatever maybe it is coming to the digits only, right? That is why it is considered as a character digits, right? We can need to give for the percentage S. Okay, and double colon, close it, and comma. We need to read the value. We need to read the value is a t timestamp. We can use which function?
LR under string.
Evolve string. Evolve string. So which value we can read?
T-stamp.
T-stamp.
For that, we need to write the syntax like this in LR eval string and close the bracket and semicolon. So we need to capture for this web save timestamp param T-stamp like we need to capture for the output in window means T-stamp I am capturing. So it will be there as a like timestamp param means 30 digits code. Like for example, time will be now 9:17. So we can mention as a 9:17, 9 minutes 17 and 34 second. And so milliseconds also it is calculated. So it will be there in 30 digits code like this. It will be there. 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. So the timestamp will be 30 digits code will be displayed. That is the what is the function of that one? 30 digits. How many digits? 13 digits. So what is the function? Web save timestamp param.
Timestamp param.
So that is for the web save timestamp param. Next one will be web break save param. To capture the dynamic values from response, we can use for the web break save param. Then next will be web break save param ex. To allow to capture the dynamic values, which is introduced from the 11 version, it has a different parameters. Like in web break save param and web break ex, what is the difference? In parameter name is equal to we need to write for the some value, but in web break save param we are directly write for the parameter name only. Okay, in before we can write as a ORD is equal to 1 before 11.0 version, but now we are writing for the full name like ordinal is equal to 1 or ordinal is equal to 2, and before we write as a search is equal to header body, but now what we are writing scope is equal to body. So these are the difference from the this web break save param and web break save param ex. Understand, right? So after that web break find, one more is the web break find. What is the web break find means? To validate the our page to verification point, we can call it as a web break find function. Using that function, we need to find and validate the page. That is a web break find function. And one more is a web image check. We need to verify the image in that particular page. We can use for the web underscore image function. We need to write any proxy, then we can use for the web underscore set underscore proxy. Means what will happen? It specifies that all requests should be redirected to a specific proxy server. Some, for example, we are using right in our office laptops. So in Gmail, Facebook, and Twitter, they will be disabled. How they will disable means using for the proxy. So they will disable for the proxy. That is why we are unable to access those social websites. So at that time we can use for the website proxy. Then we need to also do for the proxy means using that function we can do it. And web submit data. It is a unconditional contextless request which will submit data from item data. Already we seen, right? Web submit data means it is the form of item data. Like what are the data we are entering, Jojo, Bean, and some coordinator X, Y, and like that it will generated in web submit data. And one more thing is web submit form. What is web submit form means? It submit the form of context-based request and submit data in the form of item data. So context-based means request will be depends on the previous response. What is context-based means request will be depends on the previous response, and usually we are using for the web submit data option in recorded scenario. Means we can see here in recording options. You go to the recording options. in the recording options, we'll see for the see, this is the web submit data, web submit form also we can select this is. So it will generate as a web submit form, means this is the contest data, it will be displayed. So that is why we are selecting as a web URL function web submit data. So next property will be web getting property. Everyone open your material, it is there in material, okay? So you can open material and you can look that also. Using this function web getting property, you can verify the response whether is proper or not. See HTTP status codes and download size. HTTP status code already we know, right? What is the 100?
Request successfully.
Sent only.
Response received successfully.
No,
Request
no.
received successfully.
No. 100
Request
means it is the
received.
request only sent successfully. 200 means
Received success.
it is a request sent, a response also received successfully. 300 means
Response received successfully, but redirect.
redirect means we are sending one server, but it's going to the another server. And 400 invalid data. 500 internal server. So for this situation, we can use for the Velar web getting property. Using that property, we need to write for the syntax in HTTP code and web getting property, HTTP info return code. Means what is the information code? Means it is the redirecting, then it will display the code as a 300. So like this, we can use for that one. So one interview question, how to capture the download size for a response? We can use a function like web getting property. Using that property, we need to find that download size of the particular download file size. We need to write for the web underscore web underscore get underscore int underscore. So this everything will be interview point of view very important. Web underscore get underscore int underscore property. And now we are capturing the response from the download. What is the size of our download size? We need to write for the syntax like this: HTTP and underscore info and underscore what we are doing, download size, right? You can download size. Download size. We need to write the function like this. For this is the web getting property. Okay, understand, right? How to can capture the download file size, means which property we can use, which function we can use? Web getting property.
Web underscore get intent and property.
Okay, then we have the website user also there. For all like NTLM, nothing but native window authentication applications, we should submit the credentials against the web server. Some applications will be we are unable to capture we are getting for the some authentication error, authentication error we are getting. So at that time, using for the website user function, we need to write this function, then it will work for that one. We need to give for the what is the nothing but you need to give for the some application URL application URL we need to give here. And after that, we need to go for the username and password. This is the username. Everything will be double colon only. And next will be password. double colon, and we need to give for the URL. After that comma, port nothing but we are giving right 8084 like this. So this is the first syntax of this one. You need to write for the starting username password, and also no problem, username and password, and you need to go for the URL. Like for example, what is our URL? For example, https colon and 127.0.0.1, okay, and colon. So for example, this is the port number. So for example, what happened is some application will be we are getting for some authentication errors. At that time, what we can do means using for the port and using for the username password, we need to pass it this one. Then we need to resolve that issue, some authentication error issue. Got it right? And web convert param also will be there. We need to it will convert in string to HTML, URL to URL, and plain to vice versa. Then we can use for the web convert param. Means we can write for the syntax like web convert param HTML and source code HTML, and targeting code is URL. So I will write the code here. Syntax I'm writing. What is the function? Next one, web convert param. This is the syntax, and now I am changing for the HTML to HTML and comma. This is the syntax of this one, and we need to write for the what is the source one. What is the source? We need to write for the source encoding, and where we are taking from the source code will be HTML. Source code will be HTML, but I need to change for this HTML to URL. That is called a target encoding URL. We need to write for the target encoding URL. Encoding equal to syntax. So this is the syntax. Each and everyone, please look in our material also will be there. Everything will be same, and same to last is the one of this argument. Okay. See, web convert param HTML. We are our source code will be HTML, and we are given that is by HTML, and the source code what is that HTML. So we need change for the HTML to URL means we are given as a target encoding will be URL. So I need change for the HTML to plain. Then target encoding what I can write? Hello. Hello.
HTML.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, HTML to plain. I need to encoding for the plain. Then in target encoding place we equal to we can write which one? Plain.
Plain.
Write as a
plain.
target encoding plain. Otherwise, I will changing for the HTML to URL. And what we'll do? We can give it as a HTML to URL or plain to text. So just to what is the target means? It is there in HTML, then we need to convert as a URL. You can give as a target encoding URL. It is HTML. You need to change as a plain. You can give as a plain. Otherwise, you are changing URL to plain. You can give as a source code will be URL and plain code will be HTML. So vice versa, we can take this one. This is for the web convert param. And one more important thing will be web add header. Web add header. So web add headers means my first or any of the keep on failing, right? Even after coding the correlation or parameters. So sometimes what will happen means every time we have the some headers will be there in our see, I will show you for here, then everyone can understand. So we'll go to the snapshot. So snapshot. Everyone able to see? Some header files will be there. See, these are will be headers: host, connection, content length, cache controls, 6CHUA. These are all everything: origin, content type, accept. So these are will be header types. Sometimes we are getting request will be. See, this is the response body, right? Response headers also we have the response headers and same to the request headers also there. So we need to compare this one. Maybe sometimes we have done correlation correct and parameterization correct, but sometimes we are unable to capturing the dynamic. We are getting suffer the error as a some 500 internal server error. Why we are getting this error means, for example, here header will be there in set cookie, but maybe here is not there. Assume. So because